What's up, everybody? My name is Del. This is Del on Movies, and welcome to another exciting episode of Movie Swap. This is episode number 20, believe it or not. And tonight I have a guest who is a YouTuber on his own. He's got his own channel, and he is like myself, a big fan of superhero movies. And he also does a lot of out of theater reactions. And he has definitely some interesting takes, and we might get into a bit of those before we get started. But I'm talking about the man. What's going on, Dimension?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Had a good day so far today.
Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. All right. So my first question is: I watched your out of theater reaction to Transformers: The Rise of the Beast. So my first question is a question you don't have to answer if you don't want to. That's completely up to you. But it's just I have not seen anybody else in your videos until today. Who's that in the video with you?
Oh, that's my younger sister.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And is she a big movie fan like yourself?
Yes. We go see movies quite sometimes together.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Glad to hear it. Now, my other question, more general, just about Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Well, Transformers in general. So, let me give you a little bit of background. I think I've told you this before. So, I watch your channel, and a lot of the times I'll finish the video, and I'm like, you know what? He and I didn't have the same experience watching this movie, whatever the movie is. So and it's not always, but sometimes, your opinions are opposite of mine. It's one of the reasons I kind of wanted you on here tonight. So I say all that to say that I'm not a big fan of the Transformers franchise. I like the first one. I grew up in the 80s when the Transformers were really big. I really like the first Transformers movie. I didn't really like any others until Bumblebee. So not my question to you, but my challenge to you: sell me on going to see Rise of the Beast. Why should I go see it?
Because it's got incredible action. It's got incredible voice performance by the Autobots and Decepticons and um, um, Beast Transformers. And I think the human characters they're okay in the film, but for me, I personally prefer the relationship, human interaction in Bumblebee because I just love that chemistry relationship between Charlie, played by Haley Steinfeld, and Bumblebee. And I see that it took inspiration from the Iron Giant film.
Yes, very much. And I did, like I said, I did enjoy Bumblebee. I thought that was a pretty good movie. All right. Next question for you is about just your love of superheroes in general. And if who is Batman your favorite hero? Is that, if I have that right?
Yes,
Okay. I also mine. Why Batman?
because I enjoy his seriousness. I enjoy his badassery. I enjoy the Batmobile. I like the music, and I like his sidekicks, like Robin. I own a Robin figure in my collection. I
Okay.
remember as a kid watching either Batman '89 or Batman and Robin as a child so many times, and I used to dress up for Halloween as Batman. Got a lot of action figures from that Batman and Robin film as a kid. So yeah,
Okay. Do you have a favorite Robin?
my favorite Robin, I think I like to go with Tim Drake.
Okay. Okay. I grew up on the Batman Adam West series, so I'm always partial to Dick Grayson, but I do like Damien. So that's the thing on me. Anyway. So I've been watching also your collection videos. You started on A's and B's. Um and are you gonna carry that all the way through, I'm assuming?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And unlike me, I'm kind of long winded. You get in and out of there pretty quick. So I admire that in those videos. They're running what, 3, 4, 5 minutes maybe. I'm a little more wordy, unfortunately, for me. But I like the way that you're getting in and getting out with those videos, and I get to see a lot of good stuff. All right, let's take a look and see who is out here in the chat with us. Looks like we got about 8 folks right now, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And we're gonna start with Adrian as always. He says, "Hey, they're the two D's." What's going
Hey,
on,
that's
Adrian?
Adrian.
All right. Mizzy says, "Hey, Dell and Dimension." Hey, Mizzy.
What's up, Mizzy?
All right. Mama Blu-ray's in the house early. Hey, Mama Blu-ray, what's going on?
Hello there, Mama Blu-ray.
Oh yeah. And Mama Blu-ray, not to cut off Mizzy or anybody else, but Mama Blu-ray, she's a big supporter of a lot of different channels, and I really appreciate that. And I understand that Sue is her daughter, and she has a channel, but she herself doesn't have a channel, and she still supports a lot of us. So that is very commendable on her part. Mizzy saying hey to Adrian. And we have Smirk88 here. He says, hey, what's up, Dale? Can't wait to hear your live stream today. Thank you. You are in the right place. I appreciate you being here. And we have Ivan is here. He says, hello, what's going on, Ivan?
Hello.
Adrian saying hi to Mama Blu-ray and Mizzy. And Mika's here. Hey, everyone. Hey, Mika. And now I know for Mika and Kira and Mizzy saying hey to you guys, you talked about easing yourself into the live stream space. I just want another live stream. I want another one. So just let's tell me something. When do you have another one coming up? And we got more highs going back and forth. And here we go. Somebody talking about Transformers. Mizzy says Transformers was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. Okay. Okay, so
Yep.
I might have to go check it out. If I do, and my full disclosure, my wife's a big fan of Transformers movies, so I might wind up seeing it anyway. So I don't
Nice.
I don't think I have much of a choice. Matt Wallace production is here. What's going on, Matt? He says hello. And Ken is here. What's going on, Ken? What's up?
Hey, what's up, Ken?
Yep, I watched the Hall today. He's got the hillbilly is back. I saw that. That was cool. I had a good laugh out of that. And Walmart stepped up. And yep, there she says, I know we have to get on it. Mika will work on it, Dell. Talking about the next another stream. Adrian saying what's up to Ken. And was Johnny Watson saying, what's up, cool kids? What's going on? You are the cool kid, Johnny. What's going on?
Hello, Johnny.
Yes. And Baba Scotty says, haven't you seen my fan made movie called I have not seen it yet. All right. So I think we're about caught up on chat. So let's get to the reason why we're here. I'm going to let you go ahead and have the floor for a moment. And please tell the good folks out here what movie you recommended for me to watch.
My movie I recommended here is the horror sci-fi vampire uh, alien film Life Force here.
Can you give me a brief synopsis of it?
It's about these group of scientists that discover a space, something in outer space that's filled with a lot of dead creatures, and then these astronauts they find three human-looking creatures. Two are male and one's a female, and they take them down to Earth to research on them.
Yes, that is absolutely the case. And I also, I'm trying to click. Sorry, guys, my button is there. It goes. Sorry. All right, I need to learn how to work my laptop. But I also have that, so that was an easy pick for me to watch Life Force. And the first thing that struck me about Life Force was the similarity in just the setup in with Event Horizon. Um, is, did you feel that way, or am I just kind of throwing things at the wind here?
Maybe I did, but I've never seen that movie before.
Never seen Event Horizon. Okay, okay. Sunshine. Have you seen Sunshine?
Sunshine? No, I never heard of that one.
Those are both Event Horizon. I really like Sunshine. I'm not a big fan of, but a lot of people really are. So if you get a chance, check both of those out. They're good movies. But let's talk about this one. Um, Now, full disclosure, I saw bits and pieces of this movie back in the '80s when I was a kid. It was playing on I think HBO or one of those services back then, but I never watched the whole thing. And even if I had, I mean, that's been way too many years. So I definitely wanted to watch it again. Um, so right at the beginning, like you mentioned, they find these they look like people, and within a short amount of time, when they're basically attacking and killing everybody around them. In particular, the female wakes up first, um, and she starts going to town, and w- it's kind of hard to gauge because I'm a person who's big on acting, and when I watch movies, I'm big on acting. It was kind of hard to gauge a performance like hers, but what do you think of her performance?
I think she was pretty engaging. She
Hmm.
barely spoke.
Right. Right. And like I said, it's hard to gauge because one, she's barely speaking, and there's not a lot of emotion uh to her performance on purpose. Not that she was lacking in that area, just she wasn't supposed to be like some big emotional creature or anything. And I'm sorry, I keep bringing up other movies, and I know we're trying to talk about this one. But it also reminded me of Scarlett Johansson in Under the Skin. I don't know if you saw that. Not a lot of people have. But that it was a similar type of thing where in that movie Scarlett Johansson was an alien and was just kind of uh one note but purposely so. So I thought in this movie the actress gave a pretty good performance at doing that. I thought she was engaging. Um was she your favorite character?
Yes,
Yeah.
she's
Any other?
definitely the number one rememberable character in the film.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
realized, looking back on this movie, I realized that Patrick Stewart was in the film. I didn't know about
Yes.
that.
I'm glad you brought up because I was gonna get there. And I've totally missed or didn't realize that he was in this movie. And yeah, he walks on the screen. I was like, whoa, wait, Patrick Stewart's in this movie. But and I don't know why I'm like 100% surprised, but well, just because I didn't know, and you always think of Patrick Stewart a certain way. But yeah, I thought he did what Patrick Stewart does. He delivered a performance fitting of the movie he was in. It wasn't the best Patrick Stewart, but he did what he normally does in the film. So I was happy to see him here because I was, if a little bit surprised. You as well or no?
Surprised.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Um, so aside from Patrick Stewart, we get the other two guys. They eventually wake up on the ship, and honestly, I thought they were far less entertaining and engaging, and they didn't get as much screen time. It was just kind of, hey, they woke up and now they're running out in the wild. Um, but the thing that sticks with me, the thing that I really enjoyed most about this movie was the practical creature effects, the animatronics that they use to show what happens to these creatures. For people who have never seen Life Force, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I don't want to do that, but I will say they're space vampires. But it's not the same kind of vampirism that you're used to in movies. It's not bite your neck and drain blood. They actually drain the life force out of you, which is why the movie's titled that way. And when they do that, basically your entire body, your soul is sucked out of your body, and your entire body is just dried out for lack of a more descriptive term. And the effects that they use to do that, I thought were pretty amazing. And it, well, go ahead and give me your thoughts on those effects.
I think those effects for its time really worked. Some of it might look really dated. I can understand why, but for its time, I definitely respect that. It looks ugly, it looks creepy, it looks scary, and that's what makes it really enjoyable.
Now, interesting you say of his time because I mean, I just watched this movie, and the practical effects, they added something to the movie for me. It gave me a tangible entity that I knew was in the room with the performers. So yeah, I mean, you know that it's not a real thing right there, but it is actually physically in the room with the actors, and the actors have to interact with it, as opposed to now that would have almost certainly have been done with CGI. And at that point, they're looking at either a tennis ball or a guy in an all green suit who's just kind of making movements. And I think it added to the charm of the movie that he was really there. So in that instance, I would say those effects really hold up. The ones that are kind of dated to me were the ones like the effects of the life force being sucked out of you, where it kind of looks like um a beam of light kind of going in, or then you have the lightning, or not lightning, but you have all sorts of atmospherics happening later on in the movie. Those are the effects that I thought were dated because I mean, face it, their computers were not as good as ours. So that's where I was on the effects. How are you on the story of the movie?
I think it's an okay story.
Okay, okay. Anything that could have been done better, or they could have added or anything like that?
Not so sure what they could have added.
Hmm. Or taken away if that's the case also, because sometimes they tell some stories they put excess things in.
No, not so sure that what they could have added or taken away.
Okay, okay. And it was pretty straight to the point, so I will commend it for that. Now about halfway through the movie we get a big I wouldn't say plot twist, but once things move out of the facility, because there's the other thing for people who haven't seen it, that all of this comes back to Earth, is where this all happens. Is not in space like Aliens or Event Horizon. This actually all comes back to Earth. So once things get out of the initial facility that we're in, just all hell breaks loose, for again lack of a better a better term. And can you describe that for people a little bit?
Are we talking about in the third act?
Yes, and again, we try not to spoil it, but just kind of tell people the I don't know if you heard me because I think I froze up a little bit, but the shift in
You
tone,
did. You did.
yeah, okay, and what was happening in the third act as compared to the first act, even.
Well, I was just say maybe say one little thing, maybe without spoiling it,
Uh-huh.
but it really turns chaotic in the third act. Without
It,
spoiling anything, it's wild.
it is very wild in the third act. It is crazy. Um, the first act is actually kind of crazy, to be honest with you. It's kind of crazy, but it's not chaotic. Whereas in the last act, we get crazy and chaotic by the time we get to the final act. Is that fair? You think that's fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna do a quick check in with the folks in the chat, but while I'm doing that, before I start really going fully into that, I just want to say if anybody out there is not subscribed to Dimension, go ahead and do that. He's got a great channel, puts out a lot of great content, and definitely, as I always say, sub up to each other in the chat because there's a lot of great content creators out there. And again, we still have some highs going back and forth. I'm really looking for people who are either talking about the movies themselves or have just popped in, like my man Culture Trini. What's going on, Culture Trini?
What's up, dude?
Really appreciate you being here tonight. And we got some haze going back and forth. Another person just popped in, Vin from Hard Copy Blues. He says, "What's up?" uh Vin and I was on a stream on Movies with Ryan on Sunday night where we talked Asian cinema. So if you haven't seen that, guys, go ahead and hit the replay of that. We had a great time talking about that. And if you want to learn more about Asian cinema or just looking for recommendations, not necessarily learn more like any of us is a true expert, but if you're looking for some good recommendations, that's definitely a great place to start. And let's see, we have some more haze. Here's another one. 4K Media Guy. What's going on?
What is up, man?
Glad to see all these folks in here. Uh and we got somebody who has seen Life Force. We got some round of applause from Mika. And all in the chat. Yes, hey to everybody in the chat. Event Horizon is a great film. I second that, Mika. So yeah, my recommendation to you from this dimension is check out Event Horizon when you get a chance. Lawrence Fishburne is one of the main characters in that movie. And Johnny says Event Horizon is a pretty good flick. I was surprised. Yep. A lot of talk about Event Horizon. Event Horizon terrified me when I was a kid. It's got some pretty rough stuff going on in that movie. Yes, they really enjoyed it. The twins, Ivan also, and Mizzy. Yeah, Event Horizon is definitely a fun one. I remember Event Horizon. I love outer space movies. Holland is here. What's going on, Holland? Says good evening, everyone.
Hello, Holland.
All right, Trini says, my bad, didn't see you saying hello. He's just apologizing to someone in the chat. So we're kind of going through it. And Let's Watch a Movie is here. What's going on, man? He says, what's up? Thank
Big
you for
shout out to
being here.
Let's Watch a Movie. He sent me a free copy of Rise of Skywalker on
Yes, I
4K.
saw that video. Yes, he did. And did I forget now? Did he send you the white one or the other one?
The other one,
Okay, I did. I mean, I have the well, I have the one you he
the
sent
white
you.
one, that's the Target edition that I first
Okay,
got.
okay, I like that. That was pretty nice looking. I haven't seen that one. I don't think. I think when I was in Target, I kind of and they were out. I kind of skipped over those. All right, Johnny says Life Force was the first Toby Hooper movie I ever saw. Parents were totally against me watching Texas Chainsaw as a kid. Uh, let's see. If you were a kid when Texas Chainsaw came out, well, I guess it's almost 10 years later when Life Force comes out. So yeah, you probably were quite a bit older then. So then again, I don't know. You tell me, Johnny, because if they saw Life Force, they might not have approved too much. And Mika says mine too, Johnny. All right. So with going back to Life Force, so one of the things I mean, and it's good that Johnny brought up parents against him watching it as a kid, and I can't talk about Life Force without talking about this at least a little bit. And my daughter is an adult. She's 20 years old, but she happened to be in the room when I started the movie and then kind of drifting in and out and then came in at the end and caught the end. So she was kind of annoyed, and I get it because she's but she was kind of annoyed because every time she walked in, this woman was just standing there naked on the on the screen. And again, that's something for just a buyer beware for anybody who wants to watch the movie. She spends the first act of the movie naked, just walking around the screen, a lot. So my daughter's question to me was why? Well, why couldn't she have on anything? So I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna pose that question to you. Why? Why couldn't she have on anything?
I think I was watching but one of the special features, and according to the actress herself, she had to be undressed, according to the director.
Okay. Did he give her a specific reason or just
I cannot remember what exactly reason it was because I've seen that interview only once, but I
okay?
just knew from her experience, maybe she was hesitant about it at first, but then she embraced the role.
Okay, okay. And I'm not a prude. I've got plenty of movies with plenty of boobs. That's not where I'm going with this. I'm just kind of curious because sometimes in movies it does feel unnecessary. So I just wanted to see if how did you feel it was unnecessary regardless of what the director said? How did you feel about that?
I'm not unnecessary about it. I think it's so to me.
Okay, okay. So I mean that's the way they chose to tell this story, and I'm not going to begrudge them completely. It was just a curiosity that I had about the movie, and I think some people might be talking about it. They had no idea. Was Johnny said they had no idea what it's about. He's talking about Life Force, and thought it was a space movie like Star Wars, not like Star Wars at all. More in common maybe with Alien was out at that time. More in common with that, but still not like that. And Mika says yes, she does though. I was trying to figure out that as well when I first watched it. So yeah, she's talking about the same thing about her walking around sans clothing. Um, so we're getting past that now. For me, when did you love this movie the very first time you watched it? That's the question I really wanted to ask.
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
Okay.
When
And
I
why was that?
when I saw it the first time, I was just blown away,
Okay.
really blown
Anything
away.
what in particular? Anything in particular?
I liked how sci-fi it was. I liked how creepy it kind of was for that for sure.
Okay.
Uh oh.
You were breaking up a little bit, so I'm not sure if everybody heard
I
you.
thought I thought you were muted for a moment.
No, this time you were breaking up this time. All right. So you just
Uh,
like the science fiction of it all.
yes, for sure.
Well, okay. This form of vampires appealed also, I'm assuming.
Maybe that's true as well.
I don't know. I don't know. Did you hear the question or no?
I heard the question.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't hear the answer then. You said you did like this form of vampires as opposed to the more traditional type.
I think so. That was it caught my attention, so I was curious.
Okay. Okay. Very cool. All right. And Daniel Otero's here. What's going on, Daniel?
What up, Daniel? Glad you be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't seen Daniel around in a bit. Glad you're hanging out tonight. And got some more folks just saying hey to Daniel. All right. So top tier sci-fi horror for you? Or is it sci-fi horror? Is it something else?
I say it's top top sci-fi.
Top tier sci-fi horror. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So I am going to go ahead and get ready to well, before I do that, is there any other part of this movie that you wanted to touch on that I didn't? Anything that you wanted to speak about?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and give my overall thoughts on the movie, and then I want your thoughts on my thoughts. Let me let me see if that makes sense to you. All right. So for me, all right. So the movie is it's insane. It's just let's be honest. There, it's just insane from pretty much from the start to the finish, and that insanity kind of ramps up as we go until like you mentioned, the third act is just full on chaotic, resembles a zombie film in a lot of ways. Um, but and we get it wrapped up at the end, and that's all fine and dandy. Again, not going to spoil anything for anybody. You'll have to see how it wraps up. Um, the overall, I thought the story was I thought the story was fine because it didn't try to do too much, and so it was simplistic story, which is fine for this movie because it didn't need anything else. All right. In a lot of ways, though, I thought the story was kind of not the story, but the filmmaking was a little bit lacking, as in they weren't sure how to present certain things, and or do it in a way that was completely coherent. Now, not to say that the whole film is incoherent because it's not. Just that certain things were just kind of thrown in or forgot about, things like that. Um, Now, I say all that to sounds like I hate the movie. And what is actually happening is that from a technical standpoint, other than the animatronics that I mentioned, I would say it's not a greatly made movie, but it's so I would categorize it as a bad movie, but it's so enjoyable. Sorry, so enjoyable at the same time that I had a lot of fun watching it. So I put those I call those movies so bad they're awesome. Um, and I'll stop there and let me hear what you think about that.
Are you ready to hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so my overall thoughts that it is an entertaining sci-fi horror flick. If you like, if you want to stare at a female vampire woman without wearing anything, if you want some chaos, if you want some little sci-fi action, and if you like vampires, and that then it's up your alley.
right, right. It's definitely all those things which lends to its B movie feel. I think it's kind of a B movie, but had more than a B movie budget. because for the time the budget was pretty decent. I think it was like I looked it up. I think it was 20 to 25 million or something like that, which in '85 was pretty strong actually. It might have been it's either 15 or 25. I can't remember which, but so it's from that point of view, it's not a boom B movie, but in its bones, I think it's kind of a movie. So I think we're on the same wavelength here. We really enjoyed the movie. We might be just coming at it from slightly different angles, maybe. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, I think that makes sense.
Okay, fair enough. And I'm looking at the chat, and I do see some comments about it. So let's see what people are saying. Johnny is saying, I'd call it sci-fi horror. You have the whole vampirism aspect of it, absolutely. And the twins, it is definitely a B movie. Yeah, that I would say it's definitely a B movie, but it got not quite A movie money, not a quite a movie budget, but it did have a better than most B movie budget. So I don't know how familiar you are with a lot of '80s horror dimension, but a lot of them were made for basically 5.99 and kind of thrown together as best they could. This didn't have that going. This actually had some money behind it, and it showed up on the screen in a lot of ways. So I did enjoy that movie. All right. Again, my recommendations though, if you haven't seen Event Horizon or Sunshine, I would say go out and check those out. Anybody in the chat who's seen Sunshine, especially because I'm not a fan of Sunshine, but I recognize that lots of people love Sunshine. I'm just curious as to what people in the chat think of it if you've seen it. That one has Chris Evans, Michelle Yeoh is in it. A few more actors that you definitely know um, in the cast, and I forget the director, but he's also pretty well known. Um, Again, so if there's nothing else to say about Life Force, I'm gonna go ahead and switch it over to the other movie. And again, I will be looking at the comments to see if anybody had anything to say about Sunshine. And absolutely, again, yeah, go ahead and sub to Dimension if you get a chance, or really as soon as the stream is over, or open another tab and do so. Sub to each other. Again, lots of great content creators in the chat. Even even if there are only a few here, it so happens that my crowd is just great content creators. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Um, so we have one comment about it. Kira Amika rather says, I have to see Sunshine. Yeah, it's definitely worth a look. And like I said, lots of people really think it's one of the one of the better ones of the last decade and a half of this century. Let's put it that way. Um, it's I'm not going to spoil the plot or anything like that, so I'll just move on. All right, so we went from space and sci-fi horror to a different sort of horror, um more even a thriller slash action kind of vibe movie. And this is a movie that was brought up on the Asian cinema stream that I was on with Movies with Ryan. And it's also a movie. I tease, you can't see my daughter just walk by on that side of the camera. I tease her because she's a Hunger Games fan, and I call this movie the original Hunger Games, or what Hunger Games should be. And that movie is Battle Royale. So, to give you a brief synopsis of what Battle Royale is, basically the kids in Japan have run amok, and the government has to figure out a way to figure it out. Has is trying to figure out a way to get a handle on these kids, and one of the things they finally come up with is the battle royale, where they select one high school class and snatch them out of their environment, out of school, take them to a remote area, and put collars on them and tell them, hey, look, you got 3 days, and the last person alive will be the winner, and they'll be the only one to survive. And this is basically is, I guess, the tactic is to scare kids all over Japan into scaring them straight, so to speak. And so we meet this class, and we get to meet them a little before things start, and we see how unruly they are. And then right at the beginning, we get one of their former teachers who was actually victimized by them right at the beginning of the movie. He comes back to pretty much be uh not the MC, but he's pretty much overseeing this particular iteration of Battle Royale. Um, so right at the beginning, have you heard of Battle Royale before this? Let me ask that first.
It wasn't until you recommended that on your list.
Okay. Okay, cool. So you had no idea going in what was happening. And the right at the beginning, we get the text on the screen that tells us everything I just said pretty much. So it's not I didn't spoil anything. Um, what did you think then, or were you thinking any parallels to Hunger Games, or were you just not sure where we were going?
Just not sure where we were going. But I will say this though, I read online, and I think somebody mentioned that this is the original Squid Game. That a comparison to that Netflix series right now.
I can see that. Yes, I could definitely see that
I've seen
also.
that before. That one's really good.
Yeah, I actually didn't. Haven't watched Squid Game yet. I saw bits and pieces of it because some people in my house were watching it, and I keep telling myself I'm gonna go back and watch it. I know there's a season two, so I'm gonna try to watch it before season two is released. Um, so, what did you think of the teacher when he shows back up in the room where they are with the entire class and right getting ready to start?
I think he was a douche.
It's a little bit petty, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so we get the collars. And how did you think the kids were acting? No, well, not how they're not acting as in their ability to act, but uh their response to being in the room. Were you kind of there with them, or were you just kind of like, this is what you get? How were you on that?
I think they were acting really over the top, most of them.
Okay. Can you blame them though? Would you, if that were you in that room?
Well, to a degree, I wouldn't blame it because I knew they were scared and they wanted to make
Right,
it out alive.
right, right. So
I watched the film in dub. I'm a dub person.
okay, I'll not hold it against you too bad, but go ahead. I'm a sub person. Um, and I've never seen the dub version, so I don't know the differences if the translation holds up or transfers well. Um, so my question really, and I don't think there's that big of a difference as far as the context of the movie. So I'm guessing you were more like the two guys. You would be more like, or you think you would be more like the two guys hanging out at the back of the room who had been there before.
Maybe.
Okay, okay. And did you? So well, not did. What did you think when he starts handing out the? Well, no, actually, before I get there, what did you think of the videotape that he shows them to explain the situation?
It was kind of a reminder of Squid Game.
Okay. Did you? And watching it this time, it was just kind of made it was seemed a little bit too much over the top for me. Or were you in that area? Did you think that that was the case, or did that play out fine for you?
I will say that did play out pretty well.
Okay.
I gave
Okay.
the movie gave the movie a two watch before he hopped on here.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Did you pick up anything new the second time?
Maybe I did. I think I forgot a few things, especially
Uh huh.
towards the end of the movie.
Uh huh.
And I think I,
Okay.
I got a better understanding on the second viewing.
Right. Right. Okay. And that's pretty natural. All right. So now they're handing out these bags, and again, for anybody who hasn't seen it, I'm not going into spoiler territory here. But if you saw Hunger Games, you pretty much you know the setup. They're going to send them out into this area to kill each other. Um, in this case, in this scenario, They are given a duffel bag full of items they might need. And some people got really good things. Some people got guns, some people got knives, and some people got frying pans.
Axes.
Some people got axes, yes. Some people got like I said, like a frying pan or something like that. Um, I'm gonna play. Let's put you in the driver's seat for this for Battle Royale Dimension. You are overseeing Battle Royale. It's gonna happen. Do you go that same route with the duffel bags, or do you give everybody the same thing?
I would give the same bags.
Any particular reason why?
Maybe my reason is because, or maybe if I did something different, then they won't know what's in the bag. Because if they would know if what's in the bag, if we all had the same thing, that probably would be a little active way of cheating, huh?
Right, right. And in this case, they didn't really know until they got the bag and and ran out of the door. So I will say that. Let's see if anybody else is down here talking about it. I'm sorry, I already saw that. Trini says he doesn't think he saw sunshine. Ryan is here. Yes, Ryan. He I let him know that we would be talking about Asian cinema at least a little bit, so he made sure he's here. I'm not sure if he's still here because I know he has to get up early. Catch the replay if you're not still with us, Ryan, or if you're already going to bed. You won't hear me say that, but yeah, definitely catch the replay. Don't feel pressured to stay up at all. Um, and he does say Sunshine is really good. Shocked that I haven't seen Battle Royale yet. Yes, Mika, I'm gonna say definitely see Battle Royale. I don't want Dimension to say whether he agrees with that just yet. We're gonna get there pretty soon. All right, and another person does like Sunshine. All right. And sorry here, I'm kind of messing around with my laptop and looking at other, not looking at other things, but trying to make it where I can see. And I'm just letting everybody behind the curtain a little bit. If anyone notices I don't have my glasses on tonight, I actually went to the eye doctor today and got contacts, but I am old, so that means my contacts only work for things further away and not close up, so I have to make things a little bit bigger to actually see them without pulling out something else, without pulling out reading glasses for right now. So I might go to Tony route and get me a magnifying glass. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Um Oops, sorry. And as of course, I'm hitting way too many things. And Trini Fitting, I posted that steel book yesterday. Did he post the Sunshine? I must have missed it. Ivan says Quentin Tarantino has mentioned Battle Royale is one of his favorites. I did not know that. I know he does like lots of Asian cinema, but I did not know that he had mentioned that one in particular. Ryan says I really enjoyed Squid Game. There was a subplot or two that could have been left out. Okay, so I'm going to check it out here pretty soon, and we just got some highs going across the board. All right, so back to Battle Royale. So we get there and things start happening pretty quickly. Some of these kids are like, I'm just gonna go for it right now. There's no need in beating around the bush, and they just went for it right off the bat. Where were you with this with the level of violence here?
Oh, the violence is really insane. Really caught me by surprise.
Okay,
And
okay,
some of the violence looked really painful.
yes,
I'm not gonna. I'm definitely not gonna say what moments in the film were they because that's of course spoiling it.
uh huh. Yeah, there was definitely some stuff that looked really painful, and it got really bloody and a lot of at a lot of times. And again, that's a warning to anybody who hasn't seen it. If you're not into gore, definitely stay away from Battle Royale. Gore is not the point of the story, though. There is a story. Were there any characters here that you latched onto? Because I know in a movie like this with a large ensemble and we're kind of whittling away at them, it's kind of hard sometimes to
Yes,
latch on to
I
anybody.
agree with that.
Was there any? Okay, was there anybody that you did latch onto or not?
Maybe a little, maybe a little. So one of
Who?
the characters who appeared, who was telling his history with the with that kind of thing, with that battle royale stuff.
Right. Is this the one that was this the basketball involved the basketball player?
I think so.
Okay. Okay.
And wasn't he wearing a headband?
Yes. Yes.
That's him.
Yes. That yeah, those that was an interesting story. Now a couple of well not a couple, a few of the characters kind of well they tried to hide out in a safe space and make it a safe space. Uh how did you think that was going to work out for them?
I thought that it will be safe, but at the same time they'll eventually find you.
Right. They would have definitely eventually find you. And you got to remember the warning right at the beginning was at the end of 3 days, if this doesn't work out, you're all going to die anyway. So again, and I may be saying too much, but that's not really a spoiler either for this movie. What happens at the end, I will kind of leave that out. Um, I guess my next question then is really well. Let me. I'm not going to assume. Have you seen the Hunger Games movies?
No, I haven't yet.
Have not seen the Hunger Games movies. Okay,
I
okay. So that is okay. So that it crosses out my other question because I was going to ask you um, how you felt about the two. Well, how much did you think the Hunger Games borrowed from Battle Royale? Um, and I don't say that to say that the Hunger Games movies are bad movies. There are four of them. I think they're fine. I don't understand the worldwide phenomenon they became, but I think they're fine. Um, so I would be curious as to what you thought of them, especially now that you've seen Battle Royale first without having seen them. I'll be curious to see what your thoughts on that series was. Anybody in the chat, if you have any thoughts on the Hunger Games or the Hunger Games versus Battle Royale, go ahead and let me know. And Tracy is here. She says, "Hey guys, and love this series. Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate it. And one of these days, Tracy, I got to get you up here also. I think that would be a great time. And if you missed it, we were talking about Life Force from, I think, 1985, if I'm not mistaken. We were talking Life Force earlier. And then now we're talking about Battle Royale, which was from, I think, 2000 or either 99 or 2000, somewhere right there. Um, Right, yeah, right in that ballpark. I'm not looking it up right this minute. Mika says, "Hey to Tracy," and Mika says, "I enjoyed the Hunger Games. The books were better. I have not read the books. I will say this: I don't understand. Well, I from an artistic standpoint, I don't understand why the last book was split into two parts. I really get it that it's I get it financially. You know, you make two movies, you're going to make a lot more money. Um, but from an artistic standpoint, I didn't understand that. So with the Hunger Games, it's kind of like they did with Twilight, and I think Harry Potter also, where the last book they split into two movies instead of making one movie. Just in general, are you're a Harry Potter fan, if I'm not mistaken?
No, I never been interested in the Harry Potter films at all.
Okay. Okay. So maybe I was wrong. Have you seen them?
I've only remember seeing a glimpse of maybe one of the Harry Potter films as a child.
Okay. Okay. Or Twilight or even Lord of the Rings, but Lord of the Rings didn't do this. Um, but yeah, it's one of those situations where each book got a movie, and then the last book they split into two movies, which I don't think they should have went that route, but they did what they did. Mika, since can't really compare those films to Battle Royale as I haven't seen it, yes, I highly, highly recommend you go see Battle Royale, but I've already said that a couple of times. So now I will get to the spot where I'm going to go ahead and ask you for your overall thoughts on Battle Royale.
I'm gonna say it was a bit rich, but okay. I don't think I was rooting for everyone in in that movie to make it out alive. I think
Hmm.
when I watched the movie the second time, maybe there were two major characters I was rooting for to be alive. Not only the guy who showed his history, but there was this guy and there was this girl who were forming their friendship and trying to survive together, form a plan to make it out alive together.
Hmm.
So for that, I give the movie an okay. I would give it
Okay.
a if I had to rate this movie, if I had to score it, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Would you recommend it to someone else?
If you like that type of survival horror, survival games, then maybe so. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, for survival games, uh, we talked about Hunger Games. The Divergent series is another one. Uh, there was one with the guy. I can't remember that one. What that one's called. Um, but yeah, those kind of movies. Except the difference for me, at least, well, for anybody, one major difference between those types of movies that we got a lot of about 10 years ago is those were all PG-13, marketed to the widest audience possible. This was very clearly not that. This was definitely not that. Did you pick up on any social commentary? And it's hard, and I get it if you don't, because it's hard because you're looking at a completely different culture. But did any of that cross over to you?
I don't think so.
Don't think so. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. And just looking out at the chat, just seeing what is going on. I actually did get through some of these. Sorry. We got Mizzy was the last one saying hi, Tracy. All right. Any aspect of Battle Royale that you didn't that we haven't talked about that you wanted to mention?
Let's see. Who are you not hoping to make it out alive?
Who was I hoping that wouldn't make it out alive?
Yeah.
Is that oh that's an interesting question. Um and another question for you popped into my head, just a brief question for you. I, man, it's one of those things where I don't know that I was rooting for or against anybody in particular. But as the movie went on, it was one of the female characters I grew to dislike. So I will say her, and she was one that I'm trying not to spoil it for people. Uh, she is one that she just comes across as having a little bit too much fun playing this game. Let me put it this way. So I don't know if you know exactly who I'm talking about,
I think I
because
know
I'm
what you're
trying.
talking about.
Yeah, because I'm trying to be vague. But yeah, I think she was having a little too much fun, it, trying to kill her classmates. So that's the one person I would say I was hoping would not make it out alive. Again, I won't spoil whether she does or she doesn't. Uh, but that person does have a fight or does come into contact with one other person that I'm curious if you recognize, because there's one cast member that you may have recognized. I'm not sure if you did or not. And I'm guessing you did not recognize anyone, or you did.
Well, honestly, no. I've never seen them in anything else before.
Okay.
Is that what you
There's
mean?
there's one young lady who was actually in this movie. Have you
Oh, well,
seen?
I've seen the Kill Bill movies.
Yes, this was Oren Ishii's assistant, the young lady who was the assistant that had the mace that was swinging. She was,
I,
yeah, she was in this film.
oh, really?
Yes. and I always forget about that until I start watching it, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's her. So yeah, if you ever watch it again, you might recognize her then. But that I always thought was
Absolutely.
an interesting fun fact, I guess. And Tracy says Battle Royale has been on my list to watch forever. I need to see it. Yes, you do, Tracy, according to me. And the mention even gives it a slight recommendation. So he would say, yeah, if you're into that sort of stuff, um, definitely check it out. All right. I don't have anything else on these two films. So, Mr. Scott, I'm going to turn this over to you and let you tell everybody where to find you on social media and anything you have coming up or anything that you just want us to know about Mr. Scott. The floor is yours, sir.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on here, Dale. My name is Damenicion Scott, and you can find me on either Facebook, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on my own YouTube channel. My name is right there where I talk about everything I'm passionate about: movies, Blu-rays, DVDs, video games. And I do Blu-ray hunting videos. If you're into all that type of stuff and you love physical media like me, my channel is the right place for you. As for what I got coming up, I'm currently doing separate videos of my entire collection. And once I go see my next movie, whether it's The Flash or Spider Verse, I'm going to do a quick reaction out of those movies whenever I can get around to it. Thank you very much.
Okay, so you haven't seen Spider Verse yet.
I do really want
Oh,
to get to it because I really, really enjoyed the first one. I really want to find time to go see this one.
it as a maybe I'm a bit too much of a fan, and maybe I'm still coasting on having just seen it not that long ago, but will say it's phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to your out of theater reaction for Across the Spider Verse. I really one of the maybe the best movie I've seen so far this year. Actually, I'm pretty sure it is. Actually, um, in my opinion, it's that good. Um, as for this channel, we're gonna do this again tomorrow night, guys. I got another movie swap, 8 o'clock again. And my guest is going to be Jessica Johnson or by Jess Johnson. If you are familiar with her on Instagram, she's not a YouTuber, so don't go looking for a channel for her. And we're going to have a good conversation tomorrow. And hopefully, you guys can all come back here. In the meantime, once you finish here, hit the like button on the way out if you haven't already hit it. Subscribe to me if you think you might like the content that I have here. And that's really mostly for the people watching on replay because I think everybody here in the chat has already subbed to me. And definitely go sub to Dimension and all of my friends that are in the chat. And just in case you're watching this on replay and you can't see it, and just to name some of them, I've got Tracy, who's a nerdy film girl. We got double feature podcasts is here. We've got movies with Ryan was here. Culture Trini was here, and we mid level media was here earlier. Was Johnny watching? He's got a great channel. So go ahead and sub up to all these people and more. And I'm apologizing to anybody who I didn't mention, but I don't want this to run on too long. And I'm going to say that that's all I have to say. Hopefully, you guys come back tomorrow and join me as I talk to Jessica. And hopefully, we will both love the movies that the other person suggested. And I'm going to sign off from here and go, as KB says, I'm